Okay, so welcome to DFEND. This is our second to last session. This is a reminder that we'll be starting DFEND 3.0 in January. It came out with the DFEND newsletter yesterday, as well as, hold on a second, I'm gonna try to hide us there. This first Qualtrics survey is just for feedback on DFEND 1.0 and DFEND 2.0. What went well, what didn't go well, why did you decide to engage with the DFEND series? And then for DFEND 3.0, we'll talk a little bit more about that next week, but is there anything that you would like to see? Right now we're thinking DFEND 3.0 we'll talk about behavior change and how to engage people in behavior change. So if you're rolling out new things in your counties, how can you get more people engaged for success? And then we'll post this later today, the post-DFEND assessment questionnaire. So if you filled out the exercises medicine survey at the beginning, we're asking that you fill it out again at the end to see if there are any pre or post DFEND 2.0 changes in your health outcomes. Oops. So today we're going to talk about holidays and healthy choices. And we'll talk about a little bit about healthy holiday eating, incorporating physical activity into the holiday season, and budget-friendly healthy holiday ideas. So health during the holidays is a time of weight gain for a lot of Americans. We eat around 200 extra calories a day. So this is just equivalent to one slice of pie or a glass of eggnog. Can make you gain around 2 to 5 pounds more between Thanksgiving and the New Year. And very few people actually lose this weight. So So this is from a study in 2000 from the New England Journal of Medicine, where they actually tracked weight change for people. Now I think it was around 930 people over a year. And they broke it up into pre-holiday, so September to November, holiday, which would be like Thanksgiving through the New Year, post-holiday, and then total from September to March. And what they found is that people gained a significant amount of weight between November and January. And this is in kilograms, so this is around 1 pound on average. And very few people actually lose this weight that they gain. And there seems to be more weight gain the more you weigh. So people who aren't overweight tend to gain less weight than people who are overweight or obese. So it really depends on your starting body mass index and what your food choices you make during the holidays. So, and we also know that gaining weight over the holiday season can be associated with your physical activity levels. So this is that same study of these 937 people, and they grouped them into people who were much less active, somewhat less active, no change in physical activity, somewhat more active, and much more active. And they actually found the more sedentary or less active you were, the more weight you tended to gain. And they also found how much physical activity you did also determined your hunger levels. So there are 12 tips for eating healthy on for the holiday season. And according to Harvard Health, they talk about having defensive eating and cooking. So going into the holidays to try to prevent this holiday weight gain. So it's important to budget your calories wisely. Wait 10 minutes before taking seconds, so that give your stomach time to talk to your brain to tell your body whether or not it's full. And then check back in with your appetite. Don't stand next to the food table. Don't go out with an empty tank. So maybe eat a pre-event healthy snack like some fruits or vegetables. Drink for health. So a glass of eggnog can be around 500 calories, and alcoholic beverages range from 150 to 225 calories. So you can see if you're having one drink a day, this can easily lead to that holiday weight gain. And don't drink alcohol on an empty stomach. So it increases your appetite and reduces your ability to control what you eat. So I realize a lot of these things may not be pertinent to this year's holiday season. I'm not sure how many of us are going to have big gatherings with food tables, but still, even in your own kitchen, these are tips to think about. Make exercise part of the fun, and Dr. Howie is going to talk a lot about some fun exercises for the holiday season. Make room for veggies and eat the veggies first. So fill up on your healthy foods first. And then if you do have a buffet, or you're eating a lot of dishes with family, look around the food table to look at all your options before filling up your plate. And I've read on social media that what some families are doing is everyone's making dishes and then dropping them off at their family member's house. So again, you could have your own mini buffet. Just be food savvy and look at all your options. Don't shop while you're hungry. I did this before Thanksgiving and ended up coming home with 4 different types of Hershey Kisses. Cook for the heart. So be careful with ingredients like butter, cream, and shortening. And I think I show on another slide what some of the healthy options could be. And pay attention to what really matters. Thinking about your friends and family. And this will be hard this year, but using Zoom or things like FaceTime or Skype can help you connect with your friends and family during the holiday season. So just like we talk about in previous DFEND lectures, try to think of a healthy eating plate, like my plate. And so when you're filling your holiday plate, make sure to keep half your plate, fruits and vegetables, a quarter whole grains or carbohydrates, and healthy protein. And some other tips, say no to food pushers. I feel like every family has a food pusher. In my family, it's my mother-in-law. They just keep pushing food on you and on your plate. But don't feel guilty. If you did overindulge, don't beat yourself up. Just make sure your next meal has healthier choices and you incorporate exercise into your routine. Bring your own healthy food to your holiday celebration, or if you're eating at home, just make sure to have enough fruits or vegetables offered that half your plate becomes compliant with my plate. Use smaller plates so you don't overload. Watch your portions. And like we just mentioned before, eat some fruits or veggies before eating so you're not hungry. And try to drink lower calorie beverages like water, coffee, or tea, or other non-caloric drinks to keep you full, and limit your alcohol and eggnog intake. So this comes from the American Heart Association. I put this link on the right. There's a great healthy holiday eating guide that was published by the New York City Heart Association. So switch out your proteins. Instead of going for fattier cuts of meat, go for lean meats like turkey, chicken, or fish. Swap out the regular baking potatoes or russet potatoes for sweet potatoes or mashed cauliflower that have more nutrients and more fiber. You can usually cut around 1/3 of the fat, sugar, and salt in your recipes without anybody noticing. And then below are a bunch of baking swaps I took from this website. So if you're making a dessert, you can take out some of the butter or the fat in the recipe and use applesauce, and even using cinnamon, no sugar added applesauce, and cinnamon flavored applesauce can give some extra flavor. Replace some of the sugar with a lower calorie sugar substitute. I think there's a lot of those on the market right now. Instead of using whole milk or heavy cream, use low fat or skim milk, or even half and half has less calories than heavy cream. Mix up your flour. So instead of just using all white processed flours, use half white and half whole wheat flour. And instead of adding chocolate chips or candies, use dried fruit like cranberries or cherries. But these can also pack a lot of sugar. So pay attention to the nutrition labels. And then using extracts like almond, vanilla, peppermint can be a way to add flavor instead of sugar or butter. And then for healthier beverages, if you're making alcoholic mixed drinks, use something like club soda or these calorie-free, sugar-free sparkling waters to mix with your alcoholic beverage. Instead of adding sugar to mixed drinks, maybe mix in 100% juice with water, or freshly squeezed juices like limes or lemon. like we said, think about, instead of using heavy cream or whole milk in your drinks, use low fat or skim milk varieties. And instead of using sugar to sweeten things like cider, use spices and fruit, like cinnamon, cloves, and cranberries. This plate turned out a lot more blurry than I thought it would. So this is just a quick guide to portion size. I have another rendition on the next slide. So the size of your fist is about 1 cup. And this would be a serving of carbohydrates like rice, fruit, or pasta, or even cooked vegetables. Your fingertips, so your first knuckle, would be a serving of fats like oil, butter, or I think that says mayonnaise. A cupped hand, that's about 1/2 cup. So this would be something like nuts or dried fruit. Your thumb is about 2 tablespoons. So this would be your serving size of peanut butter or cheese. So when you're scooping things onto your plate, just the palm is about 3 to 4 ounces of protein. So I think a lot of us probably eat a lot more than that, but the size of your palm, or even the size of a deck of cards, is the serving size for animal proteins. And then 2 handfuls would be a serving of lettuce or salad. And this is just another way to visualize portion sizes. And you'll be able to find this on the DFEND website after today's call. So there are a lot of cute, healthy recipe ideas to get people in the holiday spirit. I found these through the University of Michigan Medical School, these Grinch fruit kebabs, which I thought were super cute. Also this veggie lodge. So instead of making a gingerbread house with lots of candy and sweets, you can make a veggie house or veggie lodge. And then I just searched on Pinterest for like healthy holiday snack ideas and found all of these images. So I thought these reindeer were super cute, a veggie Christmas tree, these pita, and it looks like guacamole and red pepper Christmas trees. There's lots of ideas to have healthy spreads when you're celebrating the holidays and still stay with the festive theme. And then I'll turn it over to Dr. Howie. I guess, Dr. Howie, just tell me when you want me to progress the slide. And I think that's the easiest way for physical activity during the holidays.
Yeah, so you can go ahead, Dr. Baum. So we all know physical activity can get pushed aside during the holidays, and especially when it's getting dark really early. That messes up our routine, and we may have visitors, but with COVID too, we're not going to the gym, so we may have to get a little bit creative in how we're getting our physical activity in. And if you haven't heard, Thanksgiving, the WHO came out with new physical activity recommendations, which are basically the same as those for the US, so we're still aiming for that 150 minutes of physical activity. But their tagline is "Every move counts," and I think that's even more relevant around these holiday times. So I went through and looked up some essentially intensity levels of some common holiday activities and calculated so you could see how many calories you would burn if you did that activity for half an hour based on a 150-pound person. So the formula is there if you want to calculate it for yourself. But it gives you a pretty good idea of, if you're thinking about energy balance and having that extra cookie or extra snack, what type of physical activity you would have to do to be able to, quote unquote, burn it off. So even though we're being safe and social distancing, talking on Zoom doesn't burn a lot of calories. Anything where you're sitting, not moving a lot, so even if it's wrapping presents, unless you're super vigorous and flailing all about, like my husband wrapping presents, it's still gonna be pretty close to resting. You're not gonna burn that many more calories. Some activities that you might be doing every day, like shopping, especially if you are carrying things, cleaning your house, if you're sweeping, mopping, all those types of things, we get up into the moderate category of physical activity, so burning about 100 calories in half an hour. Walking around to see Christmas lights. I know there's several towns and squares in Arkansas where you can go and get out of your car. You can still socially distance, to see the Christmas lights. So that's a good physical activity. When we're getting into more vigorous physical activities, ice skating. One of my students went ice skating up somewhere in Northwest Arkansas. So even though it's warm, they still have those rinks outside that you can go skating in. Very vigorous. If you haven't been ice skating in a while, be prepared to be a little bit sore the next day, especially your ankles, even if you don't fall down. I know in Arkansas we don't get a lot of snow, but just to show you an example of thinking about how we do our daily activities. So if you actually shovel the snow, that's a vigorous activity. So you can burn 270, close to 300 calories in half an hour. But if you get out the snow blower, you're not going to burn very many at all. So thinking about activities that we have to do, how can we make them more vigorous in our activities? One of my favorite, I turn on my holiday tunes and dance around my house. That way when it's too cold, or like today when it's raining, I'm not going to be getting outside for a walk. That can burn quite a bit of calories, depending, again, how much flailing is involved, usually a lot on my part. And I know in Arkansas, a lot of hunters, a lot of my students are going out hunting during the holidays. And if you're doing some hiking, again, doing it more, thinking about getting more exercise when you're doing that activity, you can burn quite a few calories during them. And yes, a MET is a metabolic equivalent. So basically 1 MET is how many calories, how much energy you're using when you're just sitting at rest. So if something is 3 METs, that's 3 times resting, is basically what we're thinking about when we're talking about METs, and that takes into the different intensities of activities. So I think you can gives you an idea of how creative you can get in the activities that you're doing. So next slide just has some examples of some holiday themed exercises you can do at home. And we've talked a little bit about, using the equipment that you have, whether they're milk jugs or cans previously in DFEND. But when we're having extra food, doing a lot of grocery shopping, it's an easy way to add weight without having to go to the gym. So just doing some squats or bicep curls is one way to do that. Gift wrap runs. So this is the idea of taking little breaks, and we know we can do high intensity activity in short bursts. So the idea around this is, you wrap a present or wrap 2 presents and then take 2 minutes for walking up and down the stairs or going for a walk, jogging in place, taking a quick little break to make sure you're not spending all that time sitting down and sedentary. Cookie push-ups. No, it's not eating cookies while doing push-ups. That's what immediately came to my mind when I saw that. But we know we have 10 to 12 minutes while each batch of cookies is baking. So do 5 to 10 push-ups while you're waiting to get some strength activity. And I added this picture in here. Myself, I am terrible at doing push-ups. So there are lots of modifications you can do. So even if you can't get all the way on the floor, doing push-ups against a wall is a little bit easier and a great way to get started. And my favorite activity with my family after we have a big meal, instead of lying on the couch and watching football, we go outside and go for a walk. And last one of my slides, Dr. Brown. So these are some of my tips that I was thinking about, especially now with COVID and weather changes, ways to keep active, great to involve your family. So get active on Zoom. People are getting creative in terms of dancing. Take your family for a walk. We have cell phones, so that's a great way to talk and walk at the same time. Scavenger hunts in the house, a great way to get the kids active as well. And we can still get outside and socially distance, get some good physical activity that way. Incorporating physical activity into your holiday activities. So those were some of the examples we talked about. If you are going out and get shopping, some of those tips to just park further away, maybe take an extra lap around the mall while you're there. It doesn't add that much extra time and can, as we say, every move counts and can add up. There are lots of virtual race walk options if that's something that you're interested in and may provide that extra accountability. If you just Google virtual 5K, you can find tons of them. A lot of them are for different charities if you want to support that. So basically you just do your 5K on your own. You can walk it, run it, send in your time, and they'll send you a medal or a t-shirt of all sorts of different varieties. And this idea of condensed but intense. So trying to do a little bit of higher intensity physical activity, things like jumping in place, walking upstairs, maybe going for a walk a little faster than normal. Even if it's not as much time, it can still have a lot of health benefits. And so again, the most important thing is every move counts. The phrase I like to remember is slip, don't slide. So if one day you miss your physical activity, that's okay. You can just get back on track the next day. You don't have to give up because again, something is better than nothing. Even Santa Claus goes to the gym. And I'll turn it back over to you, Dr. Baum.
Sorry, I had to find my mystery mute button. Okay, so to sort of wrap up today's talk I found a website that actually had a lot of healthy holiday gift ideas. So if we can't see our loved ones and our friends and family at the holidays, maybe we can give them some healthy gifts to get started in the new year. So think about holiday foods, things like herbal teas, spices, fruit baskets, even a fruit tree. I remember one year, one of my friends ordered a fruit cocktail tree for his kids. It was from someplace in Illinois where it was like 3 or 4 different trees woven together. So you had a fruit cocktail. Maybe try a healthy meal delivery service, or there are a lot of DIY ideas. Gifts related to physical activity could be, new workout clothes or shoes, activity monitors, weights, resistant bands, jump ropes, workout DVDs. Oops. Oh, my goodness. And other healthy options could be like healthy cookbooks or cooking utensils, subscriptions to health or fitness magazines, games, things like plants or herbs, grocery delivery gift cards. And I know there's a lot of meal planner apps out there that for a small fee will plan your meals for you for the week and send you a grocery list. So in summary, just try to avoid those extra holiday pounds. Think about portion control, eating a balanced diet, and participating in physical activity. And this is a reminder, don't forget to take our feedback survey, which was in the chat at the beginning of the DFEND talk. And next week will be our wrap up. We'll talk about a brief introduction into what DFEND 3.0 has to offer. And yeah, we'll go from there. So thank you. Let me stop my screen sharing there, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have. Oh, and as a reminder, I think I forgot on that website, we will post the post-assessment workout either by the end of the day today on our DFEND website, and we'll send a reminder once it's up. And remember, if you signed up, we can generate a report on what sort of your habits and healthy habits were at the beginning of DFEND and then what they look like at the end. But we would really love to hear your survey on what DFEND has meant for you and what you would like to see next. Are there any questions? It's quiet. Oh, here, Dr. Howie.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. So if you are heavier, you are going to, if you weigh more than 150 pounds, you're going to burn more calories. If you do exercise longer, you're also going to be more calories. And if you do a higher intensity, so a higher MET level, you'll also burn more calories. And vice versa, if you weigh less than 150 pounds, you'll burn less.
Yeah, I mean, I think holidays are going to look different for everybody this year. We uninvited my family like 2 weeks ago. So it'll be different. But it didn't stop me from eating all the sides at Thanksgiving. No one was there to check my calorie budget. Yeah, so Diane said there's still hope for us all to do better. And I think that's, as I've been reading things through COVID-19, don't beat yourself up about it. We're going through a global pandemic. just remember, if you binge, or like I did and had to try all 4 flavors of Hershey Kisses multiple times the day I bought them, like just make sure to get up and get moving or make some healthier choices the next day. But I think I was really actually surprised to see, I mean, I knew on average, especially for women, I think over the age of 28, we do gain 4 to 5 pounds a year. But I was surprised to see that maybe that's all happening during the holiday season. So, and I mean, I don't know how it is like closer to Little Rock or other parts of the state, but it is unseasonably warm here right now. I think it was like 70 degrees yesterday. So just maybe even getting out and taking a walk around the neighborhood. So, yeah. Well, thank you. Are there any more questions or comments? Thanks, Dr. Howie. Yeah, and so if you think about DFEND 3.0, it will be sort of a 6-month, 20-week, I think, session, but really about ways to help with behavior change and to implement, nutrition and health programs successfully. So we look forward to that, and we look forward to hearing from everybody. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day. See you next week.